Super Bowl winning head coach Pete Carroll is returning to the NFL after a one-year hiatus. The Las Vegas Raiders hired Pete Carroll as their head coach. ESPN's Adam Schefter notes it's a three-year deal that includes a fourth-year team option. A couple of days ago, they secured John Spytek as a general manager in the front office. This move clearly indicates a major shift, and even the opponents will be forced to admit that the Raiders are now focusing on stability. However, coordinators play a pivotal role in this transformation. The success of any head coach, especially one like Carroll, often hinges on the team of coordinators they assemble. From crafting innovative offensive strategies to orchestrating lockdown defenses, these individuals are instrumental in turning a team's vision into reality. For the Raiders, finding the right minds to implement Carroll's philosophy will be just as crucial as the hires themselves. What's up, guys? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. So, Pete Carroll's reputation precedes him. As a defensive-minded coach, he has an impressive track record in the NFL, including a Super Bowl win and multiple playoff appearances with the Seattle Seahawks. Carroll transformed the Seahawks into perennial contenders, initially facing some struggles but quickly turning the franchise around. By year 3, he had the Seahawks in the playoffs, and by year 4, they were Super Bowl champions. During his tenure, the Seahawks consistently boasted one of the best defenses in the league, highlighted by the Legion of Boom. One of Carroll's standout qualities is his ability to build a strong coaching staff. He has a proven knack for identifying talented coordinators and assistants, such as Dan Quinn, Robert Saleh, Lane Kiffin, and Steve Sarkisian, who have gone on to have great success in their careers. This ability will be critical for the Raiders as they aim to build a cohesive and competitive team. To me, Pete Carroll is a very solid coach. His experience extends beyond just winning games. His ability to instill a culture of accountability and professionalism has been a hallmark of his career. This culture was evident in Seattle, where players often spoke about the high standards Carroll maintained. This approach could be transformative for the Raiders, who have lacked consistency and direction in recent years. By emphasizing discipline and fostering a winning mentality, Carroll has the potential to change the Raiders' trajectory. The Raiders have struggled for consistency and success over the past 2 decades. They haven't won a playoff game in over 20 years and have only made the playoffs a handful of times during that period. This lack of continuity has hindered the team's progress, with frequent changes in coaching staff and front office personnel. Hiring Pete Carroll and John Spytek represents a commitment to stability and a long-term vision for the franchise. Carroll's success will heavily depend on his ability to assemble a strong coaching staff. On the offensive side, Darrell Bevell emerges as a leading candidate for offensive coordinator. Bevell worked with Carroll during the Seahawks' Super Bowl winning years and has extensive play-calling experience. His conservative, defense-first approach aligns with the team's current needs, especially given the uncertainty at quarterback and the heavy investment in the defense. Other names in consideration include Shane Waldron, Clint Kubiak, and Bobby Slowick. Waldron, who worked with Carroll in Seattle, played a significant role in revitalizing Geno Smith's career. While his tenure as the Bears' offensive coordinator ended prematurely, many believe his dismissal was more about the head coach's desperation to spark change than Waldron's performance. Waldron's ability to create innovative schemes and adapt to his personnel makes him a compelling option for the Raiders. Kubiak and Slowick are younger candidates with potential, but both have faced challenges in their previous roles due to roster limitations and injury. Kubiak's brief success with the Saints showed flashes of his play-calling ability, while Slowick's work with the Texans demonstrated his capacity to develop young quarterbacks. Both coaches have the potential to thrive under Carroll's guidance. Carroll's proven ability to mentor and elevate his coordinators could make a difference in their success with the Raiders. On the defensive side, Patrick Graham is a strong candidate to remain with the Raiders. Under his leadership in 2023, the team had the league's top-ranked defense in the second half of the season. Pairing Graham with Carroll could create a formidable defensive duo, blending modern schemes with Carroll's foundational knowledge. Other potential defensive coordinator candidates include Gus Bradley, Robert Saleh, and Chris Richard, all of whom have ties to Carroll and extensive experience in the NFL. Each brings a unique perspective and could help the Raiders solidify their identity on defense. Mark Davis, Brady and company have done their thing in hiring 2 important personnel positions, but that will not amount to anything unless the Raiders improve a lackluster roster. This is especially true within the confines of an AFC West, in which the 3 other teams made the playoffs. It starts at the quarterback position. You don't have to be a genius to realize that this has been one of the biggest issues for Vegas over the years. Since the team's ugly divorce with Derek Carr back in 2022, it's been a revolving door of ineptitude under center for the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer, Gardner Minshew, and Desmond Ridder have started games under center. The end result? A total of 39 touchdown passes compared to 34 interceptions in 34 games. Las Vegas is set to have the 6th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. They have been linked to Colorado star quarterback Sheeter Sanders. Miami's Cam Ward is another option for the Raiders here. Certainly, Carroll and company will also look to bring in a veteran. In what would be an interesting twist of fate, Russell Wilson is set to hit free agency. He starred with Carroll in the Pacific Northwest from 2012 to 2021 before falling out of favor. Carroll has a history of developing quarterbacks, even those written off by other teams. Geno Smith's career resurgence under Carroll's guidance is a testament to this ability. Carroll could potentially bring in an overlooked quarterback and mold them into a capable starter, whether it's Jameis Winston, Justin Fields, or any upcoming draft prospect. In Seattle, Carroll demonstrated the ability to succeed with both veteran and rookie quarterbacks, showing adaptability and a focus on maximizing potential. This flexibility will be crucial for the Raiders as they navigate their options. The Raiders also need a true number one wide receiver to elevate their passing game. While they have solid contributors like Jacoby Myers, the team lacks a dominant wide receiver. Carroll's past draft strategies suggest he'll prioritize addressing this need. Additionally, the offensive line remains a concern. Historically, Carroll's teams haven't always invested heavily in the offensive line, but the Raiders must focus on building a strong, physical line to compete in the AFC. Improving the offensive line will be critical for the Raiders, especially if they hope to protect their future quarterback and establish a consistent running game. Drafting and developing linemen who can dominate in the trenches should be a priority. The team's success on offense will largely depend on their ability to control the line of scrimmage. Carroll's history with developing strong run games, even with limited offensive line talent, could be a key factor in the Raiders' rebuild. Pete Carroll's expertise in building elite defenses is well documented. During his time in Seattle, he consistently fielded top-tier defenses, with the Seahawks' defense being ranked number 1 for 4 consecutive years. Even in years when they weren't at their peak, Carroll's defense was still among the league's best. The Raiders already have some strong defensive pieces, including Max Crosby and others. With Carroll's guidance, the defense could become a dominant force in the AFC. Strengthening the defense is crucial because out of the 17 regular season games, 6 are against divisional opponents, and all 3 divisional opponents are among the offensive leaders in the NFL. Facing quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert twice a year requires a defense capable of creating pressure and forcing turnovers. Carroll's ability to build and coach defenses that excel in these areas will be crucial for the Raiders' success. The lessons learned from the Legion of Boom era could serve as a blueprint for the Raiders to replicate similar success. One of the most significant aspects of Carroll's hiring is the stability and continuity he brings to the organization. The Raiders have been stuck in a cycle of firing coaches and lacking a clear vision. With Carroll and Spytek at the helm, the team has a chance to break that cycle. Even if the team struggles initially, Carroll's presence sets the foundation for future success. His ability to develop talent, build a winning culture, and adapt to challenges makes him an ideal choice to lead the Raiders into a new era. Stability extends beyond the coaching staff. Spytek's presence in the front office ensures that the Raiders will have a clear and consistent approach to roster building. His experience in player evaluation and team building will complement Carroll's leadership on the field. Together, they provide the Raiders with a solid foundation for sustained success. The continuity between the front office and coaching staff will be key to overcoming the franchise's long-standing challenges. The former head coach Antonio Pierce's tenure with the Raiders showcased his potential as a head coach, but his lack of experience at the highest level was evident in the team's performance and decision-making. Pierce's leadership style leaned heavily on his ability to motivate players, but he struggled to assemble a cohesive coaching staff and lacked the tactical expertise to elevate the team consistently. In contrast, Pete Carroll brings decades of experience, a proven track record of success, and a meticulous approach to building both coaching staff and team culture. Carroll's ability to adapt to the modern NFL, combined with his defensive expertise, sets him apart from Pierce. While Pierce's passion for the game was undeniable, Carroll's arrival signals a move towards stability, structure, and a clear long-term vision for the Raiders. So, my final thoughts on the Raiders' hiring of Pete Carroll and John Spytek are the beginning of a new and more stable chapter for the organization. While there are challenges ahead, these moves provide hope and a clear direction for the future. So, what do you think? Do you think under Pete Carroll the Raiders can make it in the playoffs like the Chargers under Jim Harbaugh? Let me know in the comments below.